Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Catholic Scallywag, where ad hominems and barbed invectives are just how we say hello.
If you're looking for temperate opinions and unbiased news coverage, I've got news for you, dummy. You're on the wrong channel.
Mm-hmm.
It's a nice not my first drink.
That's evident. That's by that delayed response. But I do like your pervy new ascot there, friendo.
Oh, thank you. Just a little bit of degenerate. There needs to be just a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, that's what we're all about. You know, just but all within kind of the legal moral boundaries that have been.
Of course, I'm a strict legalist.
Yes. It's just like
I greatly appreciate strict legalists as well.
Just like our common Muslim friend who loves dogs but doesn't let himself be licked by them.
It's true. He can pet them, but he can't. He can't get licked, or he's unclean. He can't pray. He's got to go purify. He's got to go wash. I respect a man like that. He takes his religion seriously.
Sure. So should we look at
the dogs?
Likes dogs? Yeah. Should you say? I like drinks, but I have to. I guess we have to limit myself to 5 or 6. All right. So let's, and then Lent. Obviously, just for Lent.
Well, you need to drink more during Lent because that's your only nutritional intake.
What's an improved? Yeah, it's an improved fast.
Yeah. And
okay.
You wouldn't want to be grumpy during the fast, then that spoils the whole thing.
No, of course not. I mean, it's like you have to put oil in your face, which I think would make me more grumpy.
I'm gonna pass on looking like Vin Diesel for the duration of Lent.
All right, let's look at what's happening in the news.
Really fast cars.
Groot. I don't know what is that, Vin Diesel. That was his best performance. His reprisal role for Vin Diesel as it being a baby tree.
Plank of wood.
So here's in the news, Pope Francis is calling for an ethical AI that respects human dignity. So he's talking about how AI must recognize and promote that it is. So this is the fundamental in this one of these meetings that he has all these like random people in. He said, "Oh, we got to have AI that's good for people, and then to make the intrinsic dignity of every man and every woman the key criterion in evaluating emerging technologies." So there's a lot of like tech Vatican news actually. So this one actually kind of came to light after the Pope was notably AI enhanced. I don't know if you saw the image, but it was an interesting one. I'll share it here on the screen here, and yeah, there we go. There's Holy Father his AI puffy jacket. I guess that's what people do with ChatGPT these days and make gangster Pope Francis.
Okay, that's a thing you can do.
Yeah, and so also in the tech Vatican world, Pope Francis is set to bless the satellite to launch his words into space. So you might remember when he did the blessing during COVID-19 of like the whole sort of St. Peter's Basilica that was empty. So apparently that speech is going to go out into space, and which will be great. With his book, Why Are You Afraid? Have You No Faith? The World Facing Pandemic. It was converted into a nano book, 2 millimeter by 2 millimeter on a silicon plate. And here are some Vatican scientists making the satellite. Isn't that exciting? And also, James. Nomen, wake up. Wake up.
What?
Wake up.
What's happening?
Oh, all the technologies. You're missing all of them.
An old man speaking to an empty room and then an empty cosmos.
Yes. But also, look, there's a new magical shrine, Orlando Basilica, ministers to Catholics visiting Disney World. Hooray! And it's got a statue of St. Michael there. So tens of millions of people visit the Orlando area each year, and while some only frequent the altars of Mickey Mouse and Harry Potter during their stay, others carve out time to worship the source of all blessings. This is the priest. Let Mary Queen be your spiritual home while you are in Orlando. This is the rector. Our priests, and then he said, our priests are available to speak with you, and our gift shop is your one-stop shopping place for religious gifts. Hooray! The 2,000-seat shrine commands attention from passerbyers on the I-4. Blah, 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 blah. And it's, oh, look at how beautiful it is. It fits right in with the Disney theme.
Did they just like read the satires of Erasmus and decide we should be this way? We should
Seems so.
This is a joke from this.
Well, they got some nice art too. They've got this like nice.
This is like straight out of an Erasmian satire, though. Like, come visit the gift shop on your way out of our shrine.
On the way out, yeah, on your visit to Disneyland.
That's not the point. They're
just flabbergasted.
I'm not. I'm not surprised. It's sort of like, cashing in is a common theme. It's just these are the same people who are like, the church was so terrible before the Reformation, and then Luther helped us get our act together because we were selling indulgences. Like, guys.
No, but there are some.
At least indulgences are a thing.
Like this, like the Nicaraguan bishop. He's standing up against the Ortega and the communists in Nicaragua, which is good. To let him have a meal with his family, and so he made a little video about it. Yeah, I mean, like it's not all like Disney shrines and stuff. There are, prelates who are standing up for the faith and stuff. So it's good.
Stop it. Stop trying to bring the mood up. Stop it. You're ruining it. We have to come together for a nice family moment. Is that it? Is that?
I don't know, man. Just
what is this? I was in the middle of ranting about.
All right, you keep your rant. That was good. Or did I kill it?
At least it was interesting. The first stuff was like,
oh yeah, like the
sleep-inducing nonsense.
Just obviously clutching for relevance.
Well, I mean, a room full of people, none of these people have anything to do with tech, and they're like, it's like, technology should be good, not bad.
And
they go, everyone goes, and they're thinking about the open bar. And they're like, Yeah,
I mean, that was kind of like,
agree. I also like good things and not things that aren't good, because
that was
those
kind of
things
the
are
equivalent
mostly
of like,
not good.
that was kind of the equivalent of like what Laudate Si was kind of saying. Like, I mean, it was sort of saying that, like, you know, that we shouldn't have, you know, it's like, you know, a fairly sort of traditional position, you know, of the relationship between between sort of business and manufacturing and mankind, that, you know, that the both the environment and mankind should sort of like, and it's also like, you know, and it also said that we shouldn't like exert, like, you know, an overexert sort of like, you know, mastery over the environment. And I thought that was actually, it was actually good, because he kind of tied in like kind of the whole sort of like pro-life and sexuality questions framed in that sort of like, in that reference, which I think would be sort of like appealing. But it's just, but
It's not appealing
know.
though, because it's the thing is like 10,000 pages long.
It's very long, yeah.
The next papal encyclical is just going to be a really, like, it's going to be like 60 sheets, and then they're going to tape one of them to the other just kind of backwards, and it's going to seamlessly like go onto it, and they'll just make a Mobius strip so you never stop reading. It just keeps going forever.
But so it's like, it's sort of like inverted, like that too, like we're just like inside.
Yeah,
like,
and it just like, and you
encyclical.
keep pulling it up, and it just like, there, you never run out of words.
Yeah, could very well be. Yeah, they
The
seem
encyclical that never ends. Yes, it goes on and on, my friends. Some people started reading it. Only one I want.
Well, look at us, Jim. We're a festival of conviviality.
I wish I could make expressions like that in real life. He's just.
What did you say? Like that he was that the comparison between the Muppet Christmas Carol was Michael Caine's.
Oh yeah, so
yeah.
a fellow. No, it was a fellow in a YouTube comment section.
Mm-hmm.
Who some of the world's wisdom is to be found there, to be sure.
Yes,
and he said that for the Muppets Christmas Carol, it worked because Michael Caine treated the Muppets as actors, and Muppet Treasure Island worked because Tim Curry treated himself as a Muppet.
Yeah, well, very much. You can see kind of like the same mouth movement and sort of range of expression.
He would be very good at stage productions, because
of course,
they have quite exaggerated features for those.
Yeah.
Whereas in films, you know, you can zoom in, so then it just like gets really. It gets a little bit too much.
Yeah, but it's amazing because this is.
But it can never be too much. It can never.
Yeah.
Well, it can be too much. It can. Tim Curry. You can have too much Tim Curry.
Yeah.
In a certain mode, too much.
Yeah, I don't think I'd really have any interest.
Leave it at that.
I don't think I really have any interest in seeing him as like an evil clown. It would just be far too much Tim Curry. Did you ever see Fern Gully, where he plays like this like toxic? Oh yeah, I did. I subjected you to that, where he's like the toxic ooze sort of thing. That's just, and he's singing about being acid rain, and the song's called Toxic Love.
Like a rap video by.
No, that was a different part. So because Robin Williams,
but it's the same film though, wasn't it? The same
film, yeah. So Tim Curry is like this like toxic. He's like an embodiment of pollution, and Robin Williams is an autistic bat that's been experimented on. That's still wearing like sort of like a little like metal helmet on from where he's been electrocuted.
Wow, all the way from Laudato Si to the recent events that have occurred over the course of several years.
Well, they're just, yeah. I mean, it's the same thing, right?
The whole film, that film might actually be oracular.
Yeah,
like maybe we should watch it to find out what's going to happen next.
What does it mean?
Yeah. So should we go on to into our main bit? I think we should.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, we're already quite a ways in. So we are going to be dealing with. I made up this fancy tier listing it's all the rage these days with the kids, and that sort of thing. So I'm told. So I decided I would make one, and it's formatted it very well, as you can see here. We got our S for supreme, and A for awesome, and B for B, C for kinda good, and then F for not so good. And
is this the thing, the kids?
yeah, that's the thing. They do that with their arms, and
yeah, no cap.
yeah, and you go like, and you say, "Hello, fellow kids," and you go up to them.
What's the matter? Are my memes too dank for you? But dubstep in the background, because that's relevant.
Yeah. Yeah, all that. So we are going to talk about different heresies and how attractive we would think they would be if we were of a heretical persuasion.
This is a personal evaluation, not a theological evaluation.
Yes, yeah, we're not really theologians per se.
And this is not how successful they were either. I couldn't care less.
So why don't we just dive right in? Okay. Arianism. That's kind of like the big one, isn't it?
It's so plain vanilla. Like
it is. Yeah, it's kind of going straight into the C tier, I think. Or maybe
give that
B.
a C tier.
C.
No,
yeah.
It's just so it's so easy to like.
Well, I mean, I guess it's marketable though, right? Like that was kind of
Jehovah's Witnesses,
right? Huh?
Jehovah's Witnesses are Arians.
Yeah, well, yeah, because they're just the most consistent Protestants because they sort of like they reject all the ecumenical councils and all doctrinal.
The only
teaching,
really good thing
tradition,
about
yeah.
Arianism was it gave the Franks an excuse to attack all their neighbors at once.
Yeah, that's true. Give them that excuse. So because it was the
Franks excuse.
So, but the Franks were initially Arians, though, weren't they?
No, they were never Arians.
Oh, really?
They were pagans, and then the very holy wife of Clovis, whose name escapes me at the moment, she was Christian and fervently Catholic, and Clovis converted, and he converted to Catholicism. The Franks would boast that they were the only tribe of Europe free from heresy from the beginning, and the eldest daughter of the church.
Oh, right. Well, yeah, because I always thought it was just with some prelate who was responsible for his conversion. Because I remember the story of when he was being educated.
It was Saint Remy. Saint Remy who baptized Clovis. Yeah, which is interesting too. When they were telling Clovis about the crucifixion, he got super angry.
Yeah, that's what
we're going to shouting that if his knights had been there, then this wouldn't have happened. And they're like, okay, I like this energy. We're going to use this energy, but you're missing the point of the narrative. So let's just reel it back.
All right. So Arianism is a C. Okay. Monophysitism. I'm thinking for monophysitism, like there's, it was like kind of like it was like a reeling back against Nestorianism, right? So like Nestorianism,
yes it was.
Nestorianism, which we'll get to later, is the heresy that Jesus basically had a split personality. It's almost kind of like a reiteration of Arianism, because it just says that Jesus was kind of like a really sort of like super holy guy who was God sometimes and human sometimes. So he kind of had the split personality. And that's why, so like famously, Nestorius called Mary Christokos instead of Theotokos, which means Christ bearer instead of God bearer. But so he basically is kind of the split personality. And so Monophysitism responded by saying, no, like the Christ's humanity was kind of subsumed by his divinity. But I think it was kind of like, partly it was just kind of like like a there was one prelate, I think, from Constantinople, some one of the patriarch there, who didn't really sort of have a very like strong grasp, or no, not from Constantinople. That was for monothelitism.
There is a linguistic barrier there.
Yeah.
And so later thinkers, because Cyril of Alexandria says one nature, monophysis,
Right.
and he is a doctor of the church. So what does he mean by this? We have to kind of understand. Well, what he means by physis is not what later gets expressed as physis when we're talking about this. So it's later thinkers, including someone very unknown in the West, but someone like Gregory Bar Hebraeus, who is sort of like he's sort of like the Thomas Aquinas for the Syriac Church. He comes to many similar opinions, actually, completely isolated from the West. But he's also of the opinion that this argument is actually a bit of a linguistic problem, and that they believe something very similar. They're not Apollinarians. They don't believe that the entire human part of Christ is overshadowed.
Oh, so Apollinarianism
and eliminated.
Right.
Apollinarianism is basically, it's a bit like the Muppets.
Right.
The real actor is holding the Muppet. The Muppet's not the actor.
Yeah. So like, what would be sort of like
that would be Apollinarianism?
Because like monophysitism is kind of like at least sort of what the Byzantine Church would kind of accuse the Coptic Church of holding, right?
Yeah, I would set it as a B tier.
B tier, yeah.
It's not my favorite. It's not particularly attractive, but there's I get it. I get why they would be upset at the Greeks.
Can we just dump?
I'm usually upset at the Greeks.
Can we just dump Protestantism straight into the F bin, like right away?
Yes, please. I don't think we need to tell you how that happened.
No, I think that's pretty common knowledge. Okay, well, we're talking about Nestorianism, so should we?
It's also stupid. Put it it belongs. It's F tier heresy. It's gross.
Yeah, I guess like. Should we talk about like any sort of like modern iterations of Nestorianism? Like,
they're worse. They're worse than the original.
Yeah, they're worse than the original. I know. What was he like trying to? What was he trying to go for? So there was a.
It was probably. I'm gonna guess he was kind of.
Because there's still some Nestorians out there, right?
He was a member of the Antiochian school of exegesis, and so several of the members of the Antiochian school were actually condemned, along with Nestorius, even after they had died, which is including rather famously. I can't remember his name now. Anyway. Several other exegetes who were now dead, and Theodoret of Mopsuestia. That's what I'm thinking.
Oh yeah, I've heard of him. Yeah.
Theodoret of Mopsuestia was condemned, and sort of post hoc, which is a little. It happens historically, but it is a little unfair to call them heretics if they're not condemned during their own lifetime. It's the same thing with Origen. I always that's one of
the heresies I forgot to put in there was Origenism. That would have been a good one to talk about.
Which has very little to do with Origen because he wasn't condemned during his lifetime.
Right.
Except by his own bishop, except another bishop was like, no, he's cool.
Well, because that was because that's the famous thing about the Council of Ephesus was that Nestorius was condemned before he had a chance to defend himself.
No, he deserved to be condemned.
I know. And it's a rousing condemnation. That's kind of why we kind of tend to like be more of the side of the Monophysites, because there was like there was kind of like a back and forth between the Monophysites and the Nestorians for quite a while afterwards. I think it was, James can correct me on this later, Nomen can correct me on this later, but I think that there was that the second Council of Ephesus was actually sort of like a Monophysite council, like one that sort of like was basically hosted by the Monophysites party. Is that right?
That sounds right, because there is
Yeah.
no.
Well, it's not an
really a
ecumenical council; it's a defunct
second
council.
council in the list of official ecumenical councils.
Yeah.
For us,
Oh, do the Orthodox hold that one?
the
Second
I have
Council of
to check.
Ephesus. I
I'd
don't
have
think
to
they
check.
do, because that would be maybe the Copts.
No, not the
do.
Orthodox, but the
Yeah, the Coptic Church. Yeah.
the cops might.
Yeah.
I'm not going to look it up. It's fine.
All right, Sabellianism. D.
Yeah, that's lame.
Oh, we don't have a D tier. Maybe we should
No,
put in
but
D.
it's fine. It should be. It's a C tier. It's just a
C
lame
tier, yeah.
attempt at. It's Muppet plus one.
Muppet plus one. Yeah. So like basically, the persons of the Trinity are just modes of God's existence. Correct?
Yeah, wrong.
Yeah, I mean, well, I guess like famously Schleiermacher kind of tried to resurrect that old heresy. Because he thought that it wasn't. He's Schleiermacher is sort of the father, the dubious father of modern biblical comment. Well, that's Wellhausen, but he's sort of like of modern theology, Protestant theology, and he kind of said that he tried to sort of deny sort of the need to sort of have to follow the Athanasian consensus to be Christian.
Do you know what the correct response to that is?
Burn
A
them at the
punch
stake.
to the mouth. A good, solid punch
Rock
in
'em,
the
sock
mouth.
'em. Yeah.
Basically. What's next?
Donatism. Oh, this is your favorite one, isn't it?
Donatism is the most tempting of all heresies. That's an S tier
So
heresy
you're
right
gonna
there, if I
S
ever
tier.
saw one. Like,
Well, I mean, like, okay,
it's like those people who betrayed the faith.
Yeah.
They can never get back what they lost. They have to grovel on their knees for the rest of their life. Every human being feels that way. It's not a good thing. It's not right. It's wrong. And the
But
very spicy version of Donatism is called circumcellianism.
I actually have that one.
Went around with clubs. And
I have that one in
raided
the
people's
list.
houses.
I have that one on the list. Oh, this one's huge over here. But I do actually have this one on the list, so I'll add that to the S tier as well.
I always love the story from Augustine. He's like, "Sorry, I'm late, guys. I had to take the long way here because armed Donatists were laying in wait with clubs to beat me to death." It is tempting. It's tempting. You often get a sort of 20th and 21st century sedevacantism is a form of Donatism, really.
But I mean, is the losing of the sacramental grace, basically something that applies just to clerics, or is it all the baptized? So you basically lose your baptism if you fall into mortal sin? Is that kind of the idea of Donatism?
No, but the idea is if you're baptized by a member of the clergy who is in mortal sin, you're not
it's
baptized.
invalid. Right,
yeah,
right.
It's wild. It's really easy. I'm not saying anyone should embrace this. I'm just saying it is the most tempting of all heresies.
Well, I guess that would make my baptism invalid since I was baptized by a Protestant minister. Well, and yours too.
No, I was baptized as a Catholic.
Oh, really? You're baptized?
I was raised by Baptists, which means I wasn't baptized.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
Yeah, it's all makes perfect sense.
Yeah. Oh, that's why you're attracted to it, because that would mean that you're a Catholic and I'm not.
No, just Donatism is. I think most people are who take their faith seriously. They get kind of annoyed and
just wish that the sinful.
They just
clergy
wish
should
everyone would
be.
get their act together, right?
Sure.
It's a very human reaction. That's the only reason it's an S tier. It's
Well,
not
this is kind of one of the first Western heresies that we had, which is kind of very sort of pragmatic in its outlook, rather than
the Western heresies have a tendency to be pragmatic.
Yeah. All right, Albigensianism, another Western heresy, but that is not pragmatic.
Did you include Manichaeism as well, or just Albigensianism?
I do actually. I have Manichaeism, so we can
because
probably
they are
put
the
this
same
together.
thing
Yeah.
essentially.
Yeah. Oh, I have. Yeah. There's Albigensianism.
How many of these did you put in here?
We have 30.
Okay,
We've got a ways to go here. So
we better pick it up.
yeah. Okay. So let's. Okay.
Albigensium
Manichaeism.
and Manichaeism belong in the same tier, and I think I would give it a.
C.
I'd give it a C.
Yeah, I think so too.
It's kind of like
dumb.
weird.
Like,
But it's got all the weird Persian stuff going on.
Yeah, I don't get it. Like, I don't get why. I mean, I guess I'm kind of like a bit of a pretty sort of bones person. Like, I'm not a dualist. I mean, I guess I used to be more of a dualist as a Protestant, but
I think it's tempting. It's tempting because it
Lets you kind of it's the easy way out.
Sure. In what sense? I mean, it's
the easy way out, and if you don't become a member of the elect, you get to kind of
just live your life and just enjoy yourself.
You get to kind of just do whatever you want, which
that's true.
A lot of people sort of in our society are practical Manichaeans.
Well, yeah, this kind of
they have a dualistic view of body and soul. That's why Buddhism is so attractive to white people. But none of them actually live like Buddhist monks. They just like throw a couple Buddha statues up and then just like drink a little bit too much, pop a couple Percocets, and go out for a fling.
Yeah. Well, should we upgrade that to B tier then?
No, because our present society is grotesque.
Sure. Well, I guess it's supposed
belongs
to be us,
in the C tier,
not just us in general. Okay, let's go on to the next one. Let's Fenianism.
F tier. Read a book.
No, yeah. So did he actually explicitly deny baptism by blood? Like, it just seems so retarded. Like, it seems like.
But baptism of desire is in the Council of Trent documents. Like, if you manage to get both Karl Rahner and Garrigou Lagrange to hate you at the same time, like, you've obviously transgressed.
I
Get
mean,
it together, man.
I remember watching some of their videos by the St. Benedict Center. And they're just like, oh, he's so misrepresented. You know, they just don't know no one actually, like, everyone sort of mischaracterizes his and strawmans his position. You know, we were interpreting the church's teaching of ex ecclesiam nulli salus in a more strict manner. It's
okay. What did I say at the beginning of this podcast?
What?
Let the straw manning begin.
Well, we didn't say that. Yeah, we said ad hominems, which is a different fallacy.
Yeah, well, Feeney is never sufficiently persecuted. So let's keep going here.
If he only had a brain.
Pretty much. Speaking of straw men.
Okay, Montanism.
Oh, that's the one Tertullian fell into. You know what? That's C tier.
Well, I think we need some B's. We don't have any B's and A's.
No, but yeah, it's hard though because it's
but
got
Tertullian
those annoying.
Was like, you know,
but those annoying prophetesses.
No, yeah.
Those annoying charismatic prophetesses.
I think I'd be more susceptible to that one than you would. But yeah.
In Ecclesia Mulier Tatia, like let's. Yeah. What did I say that out loud?
No tangere.
What are they doing? Like babbling up at the front there. Knock it off.
Yeah, listen to St. Paul.
Exactly.
Yeah, just be quiet. Cover your head. Be quiet. All right, C tier. Okay, Gallicanism. Now, this is one I think you want to put you're probably gonna put this one up in the A tier, I imagine.
Oh, B tier.
B tier.
I don't like the French.
Oh, you don't like the French, of course.
I don't like the French, but I do like the King of France. It's hard. It's
to
a hard
rectify.
life.
Well,
The
I
French are
mean,
insufferable, but their monarchy's all right.
it was kind of gross that he would have like during mass, he would have like servants like waiting on him and like actually like sort of like kneeling towards the Sun King like while he's hearing mass. Like that's a little cringe.
Is it though? Like, he's the representative
Really?
of the rest of the nation before God. Yeah, that's the monarch is the chief layperson.
Well, sure, but I mean, but his servants should be facing the Blessed Sacrament. They should be facing the King of Kings, not having their back on the Lord.
Well, they shouldn't do that. They should just be behind him.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, sure, but no, but that's not what they did. They faced him with their backs turned on the Blessed Sacrament.
Yeah, it's a little weird.
Yeah,
I don't know.
it's like, yeah,
The French get carried away. That's the problem.
yeah. Okay, fine.
It's more of a France thing. But I mean, if you want servants during mass, I have kids, so like that's basically me. There's very important thing happening, and then there's the immediate things that I have to deal with.
Yep, like stray children trying to wander on and playing with the priest surplus, or trying to play with the priest surplus. Lace is attractive, you can't blame them.
Hey man, more lace, more grace.
All right, Caesaropapism.
Oh, that's an A tier right there. I really
You sympathize?
I sympathize, yeah. It's
But,
like
okay.
Gallicanism, but without the France.
So, and they're trying to. So it's basically an assertion that the Pope is emperor. So is it? But is that like?
No,
Is
it's
it-
an assertion that the emperor is Pope.
Oh,
Yeah.
interesting.
The Byzantines are accused of Caesaropapism, although the Boniface VIII could be accused of papal Caesarism, I
Huh.
suppose. But it's a bit of a bit of a mix of the two roles.
It doesn't seem like
But
a
the
very
problem with the
defined
two
heresy.
roles, the problem with the two roles is they're not actually. I hate to break it to the lot of the neocons, but they're not actually in one lane. The emperor has spiritual role, and the Pope has a temporal role.
Yeah, I mean, like there should be sort of like a marriage between the two swords. In a sense, they're not entirely distinct. Like that. Yeah, I mean, and Leo the 13th, makes very clear, that there has to be sort of a relation between the two powers. I mean, otherwise, a secular power that doesn't profess a true religion will necessarily abuse the power that it receives. But yeah, I don't know. But how can you? But that only seems to work if you have a monarchic government. Like you can't really have sort of like otherwise we'd have to say like that Justin Trudeau has some sort of like spiritual authority over us.
No, it only works if you have a monarchical government, and that's why Justin Trudeau isn't actually in charge of this country.
Sure.
It's Charles III.
Yeah, but isn't it? But how? But what if the emperor is a heretic?
Then the Pope has to intervene.
Right.
And if the Pope gets ultra vires, or let's say a little interested in some heretical positions, then the emperor has to intervene. There is a historical precedent, and every time I think about it, it makes me happy. It's my safe space.
Safe space.
Otto the Great.
We'll just have to
Please
wait.
come back.
Yeah, just have to wait for the return. Okay. Oh, we've got this is a bit of a scandal. What is this? Traditionalism?
All of Christendom was in moral outrage.
All right.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, traditionalism is not what you think it is. So, at the end of the 19th century and the beginning of the 20th century, there's a philosophical, theological movement called traditionalism. No, it's not going up that high, and it's stupid beyond all belief. This is like F tier.
Here?
It is the assertion that God's existence can only be known by private revelation, or not private revelation, by revelation, and that
Not by natural reason.
natural reason, and that
Yeah. So it was condemned in Vatican I.
the Pope can infallibly define metaphysical and scientific truths.
Right. But he can't.
Stupid.
So
The Pope
like
at the time thought it was stupid.
so according to traditionalism, the Pope could make an infallible statement about relativity.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah, that's stupid. Or about or I guess like about no, but wait. But didn't like isn't it a metaphysical statement to say that you can actually know God through natural reason? That's a metaphysical statement.
No, it's a dogmatic statement.
Oh yeah, but it's in reference to to reason and to sort of the end of reason. It's like it's beyond, like it's metaphysical in the wider sense.
It isn't the statement. So the
So it's
Vatican I was actually very careful.
Yeah.
The First Vatican Council was very careful about how they actually made the definition.
Right.
And the statement is actually that it is possible. It's not that it is possible, that it is condemned to say that one cannot say, that one cannot prove by the use of reason. It's a very roundabout way of saying it. It doesn't actually say you can prove God exists by reason. What it actually says is if anyone says that this is a paraphrase. It says something along the lines of, if anyone says that God cannot be proved by means of natural reason, but by divine revelation alone, let him be anathema.
Okay.
So it condemns their own position without making a positive statement.
Monothelitism.
It's an F tier.
F tier. Yeah.
No one ever liked that one.
Well, but apparently it did actually have. I remember listening to Dr. Fimister's podcast, and it did have like for a good 50 years, it did have like a number of adherents. It wasn't insignificant. But it was just dumb. Like why would you? Because it was trying to go from like monoanimism, which is that there was one mind of Christ, which he rejected that, and then went to like sort of one level beyond that. But I guess the scandal about that one is that actually a pope actually wrote a letter actually condoning that heresy, which is sort of which is one of the which is sort of one of the it's as ammunition for some of the sedevacantists, I think, or for at least some of the not sedevacantists, but for like
the problem is that people have a very ill-defined understanding of the limits of papal infallibility,
right,
and part of that is just a lack of historical consciousness,
right.
So the solution to this is to read a book. That's the solution. What's the next thing?
Atomism.
No, it can't be A tier.
B.
It's gonna be a B tier heresy because it's okay. So
it's really dumb.
Atomism is where how you get dressed up for church.
Yeah.
Not them. You don't get anything
Up in yeah.
in your birthday
Suit.
suit.
Yeah.
That's the deal. So it was 2nd, 3rd, 4th century North Africa, and then they got rid of it. But hey, it kind of started popping up in medieval Holland
I
and
just don't
Germany.
understand like what the actual idea is it before, because like Adam and Eve,
Well,
like
it's
after
the
they sinned,
idea
they
of
started
it
wearing
is that
clothes like right away.
once you're baptized, you have grace. You're in a state of grace. You're now returning to the way that you were before the fall, so you don't have to wear clothes.
But you still have original sin.
I didn't say it made sense. I
That's why
said there was a
easier.
reason behind it. That's why
Because
it's
the people,
and okay.
it's
So
attractive
the
just 'cause
reason
you
it's
get
not
to, like go around naked.
Okay, the reason it's not A or S tier is because
Yeah.
the minute you allow that kind of thing, it's old dudes.
Oh yeah.
It's like the men's locker room.
Where the guy's like,
Ugh.
where the guy's just like, hey, putting up
Like-
those new
like-
LEDs. Yeah.
Like, like no one is it's not like fashionable young people standing around in the nude. The people who are into this kind of disgusting trash are all old and creepy.
And that's the major problem with it. Also, it's immoral. But it's not just immoral. On top of being immoral,
It's kinda
it's also
gross.
gross.
Unsanitary.
but funny, and that's why it's in the B tier.
Yeah, it is funny. I'll give you that for sure. All right. Let's go. Gnostic Docetism. F, maybe C.
Really?
I put it in C.
C?
A
All
lot
right.
of people are into new age stuff. It's kind of like
Yeah, that's true,
It's,
yeah.
it's sort of bland. It's low fat Greek yogurt of religion.
Sure. So
And they
for
throw a handful of granola in it to make it exciting.
so that was I mean, this it sounds very similar to, why don't we do Apollinarianism next, because that seems very similar, because basically Gnostic Docetism said that Jesus had a kind of a phantom body.
Yeah, throw it in there.
Okay. So Apollinarianism also in C.
You know what? Marcionism goes in there too because it's pretty much Gnostic trash.
Well, Marcionism though is a different idea. It's has
Yeah,
more
but
to do. Yeah.
It's sort of like Valentinianism. It's a form of Gnosticism.
I mean, we should give at least like sort of an explanation to them, because Apollinarianism isn't a Gnostic heresy. It's actually,
No. But it's more of a form of it's like reverse Arianism. We explained it before, though. It's the Muppets.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
Sabellianism,
the
right?
Muppet, yeah. But Gnostic Docetism says like flesh is bad, so God obviously couldn't have flesh, so he's got kind of this phantom body, so we can kind of see God's actions. But it's just it's based in Gnosticism.
Manichaeism.
Yeah. But Marcionism is different. It says that there's
The
two
Old
gods.
Testament God was mean, and the New Testament
mean.
God is good.
So that's kind of like Susan from the Parish Council heresy. She doesn't like the Old Testament because they killed the Canaanites, and that's so mean. God could have never done that.
Okay.
Pelagianism. I think Pelagianism actually. I think for me that's actually. I think this is A tier for me.
B tier.
B.
It's very Church of England.
Yeah, but I think
But that's where it came from. It came from Britain.
Yeah,
and then the Church of England just adopted it after
yeah, but I mean, but it is attractive in a sense that it is kind of like, it does sort of like we're all about our human nature being good and stuff like that. I don't know.
To you, I just want there to be fireworks. But you can put it in A if you want.
I'll put it in A. But I mean, I think one of the things that the difference between modern Pelagianism, which is grosser, and sort of like Pelagius's original sort of idea was Pelagius was actually sort of trying to deal with kind of the question that people have asked for centuries about, like, people who've never heard the gospel. That was basically the origin of the
Doesn't it just
question.
turn you into a Catholic version of a Joe Bro though? Like,
Well, I can, yeah, for
like
sure.
take like 16 supplements and do 3 hours on the treadmill every day. Like,
Yeah, but I guess that's kind of
it's just like the
what I'm
Catholic
more
version
attracted
of
to,
that.
yeah.
Like, hey, let's
Yeah.
just pray and then we'll be better at it.
But actually, it was interesting though, because like I was reading this. I was reading sort of on Grace in Nature with it was like those Lutheran pastors when I was kind of trying to sort of dialogue with them for a bit, and Augustine actually said of Pelagius, he said that he's emphasizing the action of God the Creator to the expense of the action of God as the Redeemer. And Luther is kind of the opposite. He's emphasizing God the Redeemer at the expense of God the Creator. And so it's I don't know. It's just it's interesting because but Augustine like always kind of held that hard line that there's no way like ever that a person who didn't hear about who hadn't heard about Christ could be saved. But I mean, I guess like the and we can't say that they are from a theological perspective.
It's the exception here is, of course, there's no way outside of a miracle.
Right. That's why Dante
but they
said,
do happen.
Yeah, well, that's why Dante.
I've mentioned the Plato story before, but the story of Plato appearing to the monk who had sort of upbraided him for his theories and said, "You sin all the time, and you should know better. I tried my hardest, but believe me, when Christ appeared, I was the first to believe. Appeared in limbo, I was the first to believe." So take that as you will. I don't know. That's just a story of private revelation.
Yeah, well, like, I mean, the idea in Dante, there's a few like sort of pagans in the Paradiso, but they weren't actually pagans. There was Ripheus, who was actually in the Aeneid, and Christ actually sort of appeared to him before he was incarnated, before he died, and so he actually was a Christian. He was saved by his faith in Christ, and so you can't be saved outside of explicit faith in Christ. But I guess like kind of Flannery O'Connor in a way, like she kind of talks about how the action of grace sort of like occurs in nature, and if she was making sort of a theological claim, that would be Pelagianism. But I mean, I guess
it's not nature. It's not nature, but we underestimate miracle. Moderns always do this.
Yeah.
This is why we don't venerate relics the way we should. This is why we don't go to shrines anymore.
Right.
Except if we're in frickin' Disneyland. We don't think of the saints the way that the medievals did, but the medievals had a really healthy relationship with grace, whereas moderns are morons, and we don't have this healthy relationship with grace anymore.
Yeah.
And there was this instance, for example, historically, of this fellow who was a scribe who copied out the Quran. He was a Muslim, and he was captured by pirates who, by the way, never preached the gospel to him. They were Sicilian pirates, and they weren't very good Catholics.
Right.
But he started having dreams where this man came to him and taught him about Jesus. And then one day he was released from his prison, and he met with he was in Rome, and he saw the Pope, and he was like, "You're the guy from the dream." And the Pope was like, "Yeah, I am." And he became Catholic.
Yeah. Well, that happened to a lot of like actually the refugees from Iraq and Syria during like the ISIS crisis. The ISIS crisis. There was a it's like, yeah, it's a good song. Yeah, but there was a lot of them who were becoming baptized because they were having dreams.
Yeah, well, we underestimate we underestimate grace, and that's one of the gross things about Pelagianism.
Yeah,
that's why I thought it belonged to the B tier, man, because it underestimates the power of grace.
Okay, bring it down.
I win.
Okay, I want to put this in the A tier then. Triclavianism.
I don't even know what this is.
I found this on Wikipedia, and I mean, it's kind of like a heresy of a bit like a dubious origins. I'm gonna actually share the screen for this one. So Clavianism is the heresy that the apparent heresy that was whether it was defined or not is questionable, that Jesus was only crucified with 3 nails. That as defined by Innocent III, he's like, no, Jesus must have been crucified by 4 nails, and he had to be crucified on the he also had to be crucified on the left on the right side and not on the left side. The cringe is real. It's great. And
I appreciate the level of hair splitting that's going on here. So you can keep your A tier listing. That's pretty amazing.
But you know, if that's true, that it's actually that it's actually a stated heresy, then that would actually bring into question a very famous logo of a very famous religious order. See, 1, 2, 3. Oh.
The Black Pope.
The Black Pope. Okay. All right. Let's go back to
oh my goodness,
our thing. This is the Jesuit logo for those who don't know. Okay. That's my A tier heresies. Try Clavianism with a bit of a dubious origin. But I thought that was funny because they didn't have that many medieval heresies, and so that was one of them. Let's go right to another medieval heresy, which is Lollardism. That's those. I think that should be.
C.
I wish there was a D.
Well, it's a C tier. Oh, it's like, oh, everyone can read the scripture. It's like, no, they can't. They don't know Hebrew. Shut up.
Shut up. Shut up, Wycliffe.
Shut up. That's what.
Oh, the red hot gates of hell are creeping open.
Pretty much.
Exactly.
That's how it starts.
Mm-hmm.
Knock it off.
Knock it off, Wycliffe. Stop letting people read the scriptures. He was a scholastic, apparently. He's one of the last kind of like scholastics, and he was a realist too, which is really weird. He was this really
He's not
weird
one of the
version.
last scholastics. There's lots of scholastics.
Okay, sure, but he was one of the last. But he was actually one of the.
No.
Okay,
John Heinlein is a realist.
Oh,
Heinlein is like a century after, at least.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no. Don't
but
believe
he has this
Wikipedia.
really weird version of essential realism, which is
he's pretty weird, but
yeah.
Hit me with another heresy.
Americanism.
Ugh.
F tier.
I mean, lower than F.
Yeah,
below F.
Yeah,
below F.
I wish we could do below
God
F.
save our gracious King. Long live our noble King.
It's just,
God save the King.
It's so beige.
Just,
like, it's just
bury it. It's gross.
Like why'd you even bother?
Yeah.
Like why did you want to have like a hybrid religion of like with like kind of the status quo? Yuck. Yeah.
Just like just a trash.
Yeah.
Constitution.
Total trash tier.
You buy it on a roll at Shoppers Drug Mart. Get out of here. Get out of here.
I don't think they have. I think that's a Canadian company actually.
Well, you can buy it at a roll at
Walgreens.
I don't know.
Yeah, Walgreens is the American equivalent.
Famous Two-Tooth Joe's
Trader Joe's
ass crap emporium.
Trader Joe's is an American franchise.
Whatever. Next heresy.
Okay, Phocian is it?
That's a hard one because I just no. It's
not
a
F tier?
C. It's a
C.
C.
All right, we got lots of C's here. Yeah.
He was very learned.
So you're going to give him that?
In Photius, we do owe him for a great deal of our knowledge of ancient books that we no longer have. The Bibliotheca is a very important book.
There we go. Oh, so you're being gracious about Photius, but he started.
I begrudgingly allow this.
Give a little bit of credit to Photius.
I don't want to talk about it.
Oh, Islam. Who's ever heard of that one? Let's just put it in the F tier. No way.
Really?
You think there's something about attractive about Islam? I guess so. Yeah, like I mean, there is kind of like the there is sort of like the very sort of I don't know, like fantastic. Like you get to believe that there was a guy who flew around on a winged horse.
I give it a B. You know, they stick to their guns these days.
That's true. Yeah.
It's something that you can respect as an opponent.
It's true. Yeah, we just meet it out on the fields of combat.
They have a notion of chivalry. I think we can.
Well, except they raped raped our nuns and stuff during the Crusades, man. Like you can't forget that. Like they were pretty.
Well, some of them have a notion of chivalry.
Yeah, I don't know.
Some of them.
And also like the janissary thing as well. Like I mean that's pretty gross. We talk about Stockholm syndrome.
You know, stop bringing up concrete examples. I'm trying to think in the abstract here.
All right, conciliarism.
Ugh.
C tier.
Ugh. That's the synod of the synod is coming up with synodality about the synod. Just C tier. It's so it is beige. It's gray. It's like
it's similar to Americanism.
It's just so going on right now. It's
it's just too
knock it off.
Knock it off. Antinomianism. This one's an S tier for me. We can live how we want, man. It's great. How more attractive could it be than that? We're in the spirit.
Do what you want.
Yeah, do what you want. Antinomianism. S tier.
These are the days of the dawning of the age of Aquinas. It was Aquarius, right?
Oh, yeah.
Anyway. That went really well.
Antinomianism.
There is something that's always mildly attractive. Here's the problem.
Yeah.
Whenever Jefferson Airplane comes on, it's the first 20 seconds of Jefferson Airplane song are really exciting.
Sure, yeah.
You know, just this is and then halfway through you're like, ugh.
Yeah,
got bills and stuff, this is gross. But the first 20 seconds is a sort of weird
euphoria,
psychedelic euphoria, yeah, and it's perennially attractive in the same way that Donatism is.
Yeah, S tier. All right, we're almost at the end. Okay, so we're getting to. Oh, I don't know why I have two Americanisms there. It's just.
It's because that's so bad. It belongs in F twice.
F twice. Okay,
Dump it in there.
Double F. And now we have a uniquely Canadian heresy that was condemned in 2007. Our Lady of All Nations, which was this gross group of Quebecois ladies, one who claimed to be the reincarnation of Mary. F tier. Double F. Triple F.
Gross. Get out of here.
Get out of here. All right. So that's so that we've got a lot of C's. C is the biggest category. A lot of F's. A few B's, a couple A's. Not much in the S tier, but okay, that's it for that. So yeah. So what's our walk away from this exercise? There, Nomen.
Huh?
What did we learn from today?
I learned what triclavianism is.
Triclavianism, yeah.
That's exciting.
Yeah, it's an exciting fake heresy from Wikipedia.
I mean, stick to your guns.
Indeed. And also remember to like and subscriberse so that we can
Indeed.
grow as a channel. So with that, and with all our heresies, we are out.
Remember, you will receive your reward in purgatory.
Indeed, you will. Good night, everyone.